Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have coaster tournaments. What's the best steel coaster in the world? Part 3. If you haven't watched the intro, part 1 and part 2, I suggest you go do that. It's on my channel in a playlist titled Coaster Tournaments. With that being said, if you have watched those, then you know that we are down to 8 coasters. Fury 325, Phantom's Revenge, Intimidator 305, Millennium Force, Nitro, Leviathan, Steel Vengeance, and Maverick. These are all amazing coasters, and they all deserve, they don't all deserve a spot on this list. Nitro does not deserve to be on this list at all, anywhere close to it. But, with that being said, Golden Ticket likes to rank things differently, so it's not me who's done these rankings, so don't bash me in the comments for that. But today we will be having 4 head-to-head matchups in round 2. The last 2 videos were in round 1, and then the video before that was just the intro, no head-to-head matchups. So we have 4 head-to-head matchups, and there's some good matchups today. So let's take a quick look at our bracket before getting into the matchups. So here's our bracket. In the top left-hand corner, we have Fury 325, the 1 seed, going up against Leviathan, the 9 seed. Below that, we have Phantom's Revenge, the 12 seed, who upset Expedition G-Force 2 videos ago in part 1, versus Maverick, the 13 seed, who upset Superman the Ride in part 1, too. So, 2 major upsets, and they will be playing each other for a spot in the Final Four and the finale, which will be in the next video. So, in the top right-hand corner, we have Millennium Force, the 2 seed, versus the 10 seed Nitro. Nitro upset Iron Rattler in part 2, which was the last video, and moved on to face Millennium Force. Right below that, we have Intimidator 305, the 11 seed, who upset Twisted Colossus in part 2, which was the last video, and moved on to the second round, versus Steel Vengeance, who defeated Diamondback before then. Steel Vengeance is the 3 seed, Intimidator 305 is the 11 seed. People consider these 2 coasters the best in the world, so this could possibly be the best matchup in this coaster tournament, so stay tuned to the end for that. So, now that we've taken a look at our bracket, let's get into the first matchup. In our first matchup, we have Fury 325 versus Leviathan. Fury 325 is a B&M Giga Coaster located at Carowinds in the Carolinas. It's right on the borders of the Carolinas. Leviathan is also a B&M Giga Coaster in Vaughan, Ontario, Canada. Both of these rides are amazing. Leviathan was the first B&M Giga, and Fury 325 was the second B&M Giga. These rides are very similar to each other in many ways. Long brake run, tall lift hill, big drop, and stays low to the ground with a couple airtime hills. Very, very similar to each other. So now, let's start off this matchup with the duration. Before I get into the duration, though, I just want to list the categories that I will be using for this coaster for each individual battle and the categories that they can win. So the first one's duration, speed, height, smoothness, airtime, drop, pacing, intensity, inversions, view, and if there's a tie after that, theming, which will serve as the tiebreaker. Now let's get into it. So in terms of duration, Fury 325 has a final duration of 1 minute and 5 seconds, while Leviathan has a final duration of 53 seconds. I time the duration by the time it leaves the lift hill to the time it hits the brake run. So for this reason, Fury 325 will be getting the point. 1-0 Fury. And now in terms of speed, Fury 325 goes 95 miles per hour, while Leviathan goes 92 miles per hour. So Fury will be getting another point. 2-0 Fury. And now in terms of height, Fury 325 is 325 feet tall, and Leviathan is 306 feet tall. So Fury will be getting the point. 3-0. And then in terms of smoothness, both of these rides are very, very smooth, but Fury 325 was built after Leviathan, so I will be giving Fury 325 the point just because Leviathan's older. So Fury 325 gets another point. 4-0 Fury. Big lead here. And now the airtime category, I will be giving this to Leviathan because Leviathan has some better floater moments in there and has a huge camelback, while Fury is focused on low bank turns and then ends the ride out with a couple of airtime hills. So for this reason, I will be giving the point to Leviathan. 4-1 Fury 325. And now in terms of drop, Fury 325's drops a little bit longer and Leviathan's is a little bit shorter. So I will be giving the point to Fury. And Fury gets another point. 5-1 Fury. And now in terms of pacing. So Fury 325 slows down a little bit during that helix and loses a lot of its speed, while Leviathan is just fast the whole way through. It is a shorter ride, so that makes sense. So Leviathan will be getting the point. 5-2. Leviathan really needs to rack up some points here. And now, in terms of intensity, Fury 325 posts 4 Gs, and Leviathan posts 4.5 Gs. For this reason, Leviathan gets the point. 5-3, Leviathan starting to make a comeback here. And now in terms of inversions, there aren't any on either of these coasters, so I'll not be counting this. And now the view that you get from the top. Leviathan's a little bit shorter, and you get a good view of the park and parking lot, and Fury is the same thing. But Fury is a little bit taller, so you can see a little bit longer. So I will be giving the point to Fury. 6-3 Fury. And now, because we didn't do the inversions category, I will be putting the theming category in there. And in terms of theming, neither of these rides have a lot of theming, but Leviathan has a cool little plaza around it, themed like medieval stuff. So I will be giving Leviathan the point. As you can see, the final score is 6-4, and Fury 325 is our winner of the first matchup. So now let's get on to the next one. In our next matchup, we have Phantom's Revenge versus Maverick. Phantom's Revenge is the 12 seed, and Maverick is the 13 seed. Phantom's Revenge is located at Kennywood, a little bit outside Pittsburgh, not sure the exact town, and is a Morgan hypercoaster. It was converted from an aerodynamic custom looper called Steel Phantom about 10-20 years ago into a Morgan hypercoaster. So that's really interesting about this ride, and the whole park's interesting, including this ride. While Maverick, on the other hand, is an Intamin Blitz coaster located at Sandusky, Ohio's Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital. This is going to be a very interesting matchup because these two rides are nothing at all alike. So let's get into it. In terms of duration, Maverick has a final duration of 1 minute and 10 seconds, and Phantom's Revenge has a final duration of 50 seconds. For this reason, I will be giving the point to Maverick. Maverick on the board with 1 point. In terms of speed, Phantom's Revenge has a final speed of 85 miles per hour, while Maverick has a final speed of 70 miles per hour. For this reason, Phantom's Revenge will be getting their first point. 1-1, tie game here. In terms of height, Phantom's Revenge is 160 feet tall, while Maverick is 105 feet tall. For this reason, Phantom's Revenge will be getting another point. The only reason why Phantom's Revenge is a hypercoaster is the second drop is over 200 feet. So yeah, that's just a fun fact about Phantom's Revenge. So now, in terms of smoothness, Phantom's Revenge was converted and I think has a little bit of aero track still in there, so it can give you a bump or two, while Maverick is glossy smooth. For this reason, I will be giving the point to Maverick. Maverick has tied it all up, and it is 2-2. So now, in terms of airtime, Maverick provides a few good pops of ejector, while Phantom's Revenge's finale provides some fantastic ejector air. For this reason, I will be giving the point to Phantom's Revenge. 3-2 Phantom's Revenge. Can it break away here, or will Maverick break away with the win too? So now, in terms of drop, Phantom's Revenge, I'm going to be counting the second drop. It's great because you dive under Jackrabbit, I think. But Maverick has a launch lift hill and a beyond vertical drop. You get some great airtime off of the lift hill, and you get a great drop on the beyond vertical. I think it's like 95 degrees, something like that. So for this reason, I will be giving Maverick a point. 3-3. In terms of pacing, Phantom's Revenge slows down a little bit towards the middle section, while Maverick hauls through the entire layout, so I will be giving Maverick the point. 4-3 Maverick. In terms of intensity, Phantom's Revenge pulls 3.5 Gs. Maverick does not give the Cedar Point hasn't released the exact amount of G-force for Maverick, but Maverick does have a launch and stays very low to the ground, so I will assume that Maverick is more intense. So I will be giving Maverick a point. 5-3 Maverick, starting to break away here. Will Phantom's Revenge be able to make a comeback, or will Maverick win it all? And now in terms of inversions, Phantom's Revenge used to have them, but now doesn't. Maverick has 2 inversions. It's like a horseshoe roll, something like that. Double horseshoe roll, I think it's called. So I'll be giving Maverick the point. 6-3 Maverick. Oh yeah, another fun fact, Maverick used to have 3 inversions. It used to have a heartline roll right after the second launch and the turn over the fountain. It put too much stress, the car put too much stress on the track, so they took it out. So there's a fun fact right there. And now, in terms of view, Phantom's Revenge provides a good view of the park, and you can see a little bit of Pittsburgh, while Maverick provides a great view of Lake Erie. So I'll be giving a point to Maverick. And as you can see, the final score is 7-3, and Maverick is our winner and has pulled off another upset. And we'll be moving on to the second round, the finale. So now let's get into our next matchup. In our next matchup, we have Millennium Force, the 2 seed, up against Nitro, the 10 seed. So this will be a very interesting matchup. Millennium Force is an Intamin Giga Coaster located at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, while Nitro is a B&M Hyper located at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. These two coasters aren't anything alike. Nitro focuses on a lot of airtime, and Millennium Force focuses on lots of bank turns. So let's get right into this matchup. In terms of duration, Nitro has a final duration of 1 minute and 15 seconds, while Millennium Force has a final duration of 1 minute and 13 seconds. For this reason, I will be giving Nitro the point. 1-0 Nitro. Can it build a lead here? And now in terms of speed, Nitro goes 80 miles per hour, while Millennium Force goes 93 miles per hour. For this reason, I will be giving the point to Millennium Force. 1-1, Millennium Force has tied it up. So now in terms of height, Millennium Force is 310 feet tall, while Nitro is 230. So Millennium Force will be getting the point. 2-1 Millennium Force. Can it start to break away here? And now in terms of smoothness, both of these rides are about the same age, but Millennium Force doesn't have a rattle, while Nitro has developed a B&M rattle. For this reason, Millennium Force will be getting a point. Millennium Force is leading 3-1 here. It's starting to break away a little bit. Can Nitro make a comeback? We'll see. Now in terms of airtime, Millennium Force only has 3 key airtime moments, a little speed hill, a camelback, and one other camelback. While Nitro is mainly based on airtime and has lots of airtime throughout the ride. For this reason, Nitro will be getting the point. 3-2. Nitro's starting to make a little comeback here. Can it do more? And now in terms of drop, Nitro is a fantastic drop, and Millennium Force also is a fantastic drop. Millennium Force is a little bit longer. The drop is longer than Nitro just because it's taller. So I will be giving Millennium Force the point. 4-2, Millennium Force. Nitro really needs to stack up some points here. In terms of pacing, Millennium Force isn't paced greatly. It slows down a lot during that middle section, while Nitro goes super fast throughout the entire ride, except for the one little spot in the mid-course brake run. But from the rest of that, it goes really fast. For this reason, I will be giving Nitro the point. 4-3, Millennium Force still leading. And now, intensity. Millennium Force is usually called Millennium Forceless, while Nitro is very intense, and you sometimes gray out on that helix, so I will be giving Nitro the point. 4-4, Nitro has made a full comeback. It is a tie game now. Will Nitro be able to take the win, or will Millennium Force take it? So now, view. Both of these rides have no theming, so because I didn't do the inversions category, I will not be doing the theming category either. So the view is the last category. Whoever takes the point for the view wins. Both of these rides have pretty good views. Nitro is a good view of the Prospertown Lake and the rest of the ride layout, and it has a good view of DC Town. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's like the Justice League area of the park. While Millennium Force has a great view of the park and a beautiful view of Lake Erie. This is going to be a very hard one to figure out, but I will be giving Millennium Force the point because it has a fantastic view of Lake Erie. As you can see, Millennium Force is our winner, and we'll move on to the next round. Congratulations, Millennium Force. In our next matchup, we have the 3 seed, Steel Vengeance, going up against the 11 seed, Intimidator 305. Steel Vengeance is an RMC hyper hybrid coaster at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. Third roller coaster today from Cedar Point, and Intimidator 305 is an Intamin Giga coaster from Kings Dominion in Dodgeville, Virginia. Both of these rides are outstanding. These are fantastic coasters. Intimidator 305 is usually called the most intense coaster in the world, and Steel Vengeance is called the coaster with the most airtime in the world. Enthusiasts love intensity and love airtime, so putting these two coasters up against each other is going to be great. This is going to be one fantastic matchup. These rides are nothing alike, though. These probably are the 2 best coasters in the world. 2 greatest coasters. They're not my 2 favorite coasters, but they're the 2 greatest coasters in this world. So now let's get into the matchup. For our first category, we have duration. In terms of duration, Intimidator 305 only has a duration of 45 seconds, while Steel Vengeance has a duration of 1 minute and 35 seconds. For this reason, I will be giving the point to Steel Vengeance. 1-0, Steel Vengeance off to an early lead here. Our next category is speed. Intimidator 305 goes 90 miles per hour, and Steel Vengeance goes only 74 miles per hour. So for this reason, I will be giving Intimidator 305, or I-305 for short, the point. 1-1, tie game here. In terms of height, Intimidator 305 is 305 feet tall, obviously, and Steel Vengeance is 205 feet tall. For this reason, obviously Intimidator 305 will be getting the point. It's a full 100 feet taller than Steel Vengeance. 2-1. Intimidator 305 off to an early lead. For the next category, we have the smoothness. Steel Vengeance is an RMC, very smooth coaster. Intimidator 305 is an Intamin, very smooth coaster. Both of these rides have no rattle whatsoever, and for that reason I will be skipping over the smoothness category because I can't come to a conclusion of which one's smoother. So now for our next category, we have airtime. Intimidator 305 has three or four good main airtime moments. The first one's a huge camelback. That's pretty good. The second one's a nice speed hill. And the last two are just some nice ejector moments. They're good. Steel Vengeance has the most airtime in the world with 28.2 seconds, I think. Not exactly sure on that. So Steel Vengeance will be getting the point. It has outstanding airtime. 2-2. Tie game again. The drop. Steel Vengeance has a 90-degree drop, and Intimidator 305 have a 90-degree drop. Intimidator 305 does have over-the-shoulder restraint, so you don't get much airtime on the drop, while Steel Vengeance has lap bars. Steel Vengeance will be getting the point because of this. 3-2 Steel Vengeance. Up by 1 again. Pacing. Steel Vengeance has a mid-course brake run. It usually doesn't slow you down and usually doesn't really affect the pacing. Intimidator 305 has no mid-course brake run, but does have a trim brake on one of the last airtime hills, which slows down that airtime hill and slows down the last little part of it just a little bit. But when Steel Vengeance's trims are on, it slows down the second half of the ride. I will be giving the point to Intimidator 305 because that trim isn't really noticeable. While Steel Vengeance doesn't really have pacing problems, it will be better without the mid-course brake run. Intimidator 305 has tied it up, and the score is 3-3. And now, intensity. This is where Intimidator 305 really shines. It's one of the most intense coasters in the world, and you gray out on it almost every time. Steel Vengeance is very intense too, but Intimidator 305 is much more intense. So I'll be giving Intimidator 305 another point. 4-3 Intimidator 305. Steel Vengeance really needs to put up a point on the board. Now inversions. Intimidator 305 doesn't have any inversions, while Steel Vengeance has 4. Not the most on a hybrid coaster now, but when it opened, it was the most on a hybrid coaster. Steel Vengeance will be getting the point and has tied the game up. 4-4. In terms of view, Steel Vengeance has an outstanding view of Lake Erie, and Intimidator 305 has an outstanding view of pretty much absolutely nothing. A bunch of trees, that's pretty much it. You can get a good view of Racer and Anaconda too, though. Anaconda's the sucky coaster, in my opinion. But Steel Vengeance gives a fantastic view of Lake Erie, so I'll be giving Steel Vengeance the point. 5-4 Steel Vengeance. Usually the matchup will be over, but not now, because we didn't do the smoothness category. I will be doing the theming category. Intimidator 305 needs to win this to force a tiebreaker. Needs to win this. Steel Vengeance has a little bit of a backstory themed to Blackjack, Chess, and Digger, who take over Maverick, who just this cowboy guy, basically coaster, and by building a better, faster coaster. So it doesn't really make sense, but it's kind of cool. It has a cool entry plaza, and has a very cool sign, along with a couple occasional posters. While Intimidator 305 is themed to the legendary NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt. Intimidator 305 shows this theme with a race car out front and a really cool sign. This can be hard, but I will be giving the point to the one, the only, Intimidator 305. Intimidator 305 has tied things up here. Now, usually when there's a 5-5 tie, we'd go into the theming category, but because we already done that, we have to go into the last category, the restraints. This category I kind of added last minute because I didn't think it would actually get into a second tiebreaker situation. So I added it. Restraints are very crucial on a ride. They affect the ride by a lot. Intimidator 305 has the intimate soft restraints. It has to have these because when people black out, if there's a lap bar, you'd bang your head into the front of the seat. Steel Vengeance, on the other hand, has lap bars. So, this is very hard, but the winner of this matchup is Steel Vengeance. Probably the most legendary coaster in the world. Fantastic coaster. I-305 is a fantastic coaster too, but it is not as good as Steel Vengeance. And Steel Vengeance will be taking the point, and will be taking the win, and will be moving on to the finale in the next video. Before we end off this video, I'd like to take a quick look at the bracket. So let's take a quick look at that. So, Fury 325, the 1 seed defeated the 9 seed Leviathan to move on to the finale. Phantom's Revenge, the 12 seed, lost to the 13 seed Maverick. And Fury 325 will play Maverick in the next video. And the 2 seed Millennium Force defeated the 10 seed Nitro and moved on. And in the last matchup, the 11 seed Intimidator 305 lost to the 3 seed Steel Vengeance. And Steel Vengeance will play Millennium Force in the finale. So, as you can see, in the final 4, it makes sense with the 1, 2, and 3, but then suddenly the 4 seed didn't make it, and Maverick took over and made it in there. So, in the next video, we will be having the finale, which will consist of the 2 matchups of the final 4 and the final matchup, and we will be crowning our winner. So, stay tuned for that, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!